pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to the roll call.
Mayor Steve King.
Present.
Councilmember Richard Norton.
Here.
Chris Cornell.
Here.
Kristen Klisch.
Here.
Tim Rowe.
Here.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
So
Mr. Brown makes a motion to adopt tonight's agenda. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Bush. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting tonight's agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the consent agenda, I will entertain a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Okay, Mr. Orping makes a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second.
Second from Mr. Spornell. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting tonight's consent agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to meeting open to the public. Barb, do we have anybody who would like to?
We have 3 people that signed up. First one is Steve Bell.
Mr. Phillips.
Steve Bellman, 22766 Bobby Street Northwest. I just want to give the council an update. I went to the July 11th meeting in Oak Grove about the stop signs on Bobby Street. They tabled it for 6 months. They said they want to wait to see if the roundabouts will make any difference. I brought all the information to them. I had the Hill County Sheriff there. I mentioned about the police chief here being for it, and your kind of council and neighbor being for it. But they want to put it on hold again. They think the roundabouts, they're not for the roundabouts, but they want to see what kind of effect they'll have. And then they invited me back in 6 months to readdress it. So my suggestion would be the council leave it where it's at, and I'll keep you up to date and go from there. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Tveit.
Mayor and Council, my name is Jerry Spade. I live at 4561 232nd Lane, St. Francis. In light of everything going on around the country with the police departments and police officers getting shot, I just want to come up here and let our police department, our fire department, and our emergency services, let them know that us and the city really appreciate your service and your sacrifices that you all make. So I just wanted to extend my gratitude and thank you. Secondly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Metropolitan Council. There's some talk around the town about, well, when I was mayor of St. Francis, how come we didn't contact the Metropolitan Council about the possibility of perhaps regionalizing a wastewater treatment facility in East Bethel? And I just wanted to say that we did. And I'm not sure that the new state administrator would know that, but I know certainly that there's new faces on the council that weren't on the council when I was there. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we did. To set the record straight, I wanted to let everybody know what happened. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, while they were building the wastewater treatment facility in East Bethel, I instructed the city administrator at the time, Matthew Highland, to contact our Met Council representative and ask if, see what the flavor was down there, whether or not they would be open to perhaps regionalizing our wastewater. He came back with a report that said that they were very not interested. It wasn't even a discussion. Our Met Council representative brought it up and it was shot down cold. So I just wanted to let everybody on the council know, let our new city administrator know, and whoever else that's watching the video and is in the audience, that it is something that the previous administrations have looked at, and we've looked at a lot of options. And it just didn't pan out. So I just wanted to let everybody know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Nealbauer.
Joseph Mulauer, 3459 228th Avenue Northwest. Just want to encourage the citizens and people that watch this video to let their voices be heard and make sure that on August 9th, you know, if there's a primary, it's kind of, not sure if everybody has the internet or everybody's aware, just bring the attention of the people of the city that to let their voices be heard. That's all.
Thank you. All right, moving on to petitions requesting application, Rum River Bluffs.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Sparks.
we have before us a request for the final plat that has an associated easement vacation and development agreement. The final plat is for the second edition of the Rum River Bluffs subdivision. The first edition was platted, it was preliminary platted in 2004, but the first edition was final platted in 2006. The first edition had 52 single-family houses and 24 detached townhomes. This is the remaining 39 lots in that preliminary plat. Single-family houses. It contemplates the construction of some additional infrastructure and roads. In 2009, the city installed some water and sewer mains in this property for various reasons, including to just get a loop of the water main in. And there's a deferred assessment on the property for the cost of that. The developer that is final platting this is not the same developer that we entered into that agreement with. So in your development agreement, it has a transfer of those responsibilities to the new developer under the same terms. So they will be taking over that assessment agreement, which requires payment by 2019 for when the lots are sold and developed. So when the developer plats the lots, the city will come back and reset the assessments on the new lots that are platted and have the same time frame. The time frame is in the development agreement. The development agreement that was in your packet has been modified slightly to include more detail on the terms of how that assessment will go, and that will be something that the city will come back with to set the assessments formally on the 39 lots after the lots are created in the final plat. So when they record the plat, we'll have to sign the plat and everything before that can happen. So that's in there. There was another change as well to the agreement because one of the construction estimates was off. So the turn lane improvements on Rum River Boulevard that are part of this development, which was deferred from the first to the second, that ended up costing $150,000 instead of the estimated $200,000 in the development agreement. And then there is also a slight change because one of the utility lines is oversized. So when somebody oversizes it, there's a reimbursement formula that we follow. So those are the changes to the development agreement that you have before you. So with this, there's an easement vacation because when the city put in the utility lines, there was a drainage utility easement placed on the outlot that's being vacated and replaced by a platted right of way by the utilities. So the easement's no longer necessary. So the applicant's going to have to pay park dedication, which is $2,500 per lot that's being platted. So the 39 lots multiplied by 2,500, that's $97,500 being placed into the park fund. Basically, we've got then the resolution approving the final plat as conditioned, and then you'll need to hold a public hearing for the easement vacation, and then there's a resolution for the easement vacation of that easement, and then the approval of the amended developers agreement with the third action. If there's any questions, I'd be honored to answer them. Otherwise, I would turn it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sparks. Council, do you have any questions of Mr. Sparks? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2016-35, a resolution approving the final plat for Rum River Bluffs second edition. Mr. Brown makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Squirrell makes a second. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none. All those in favor of resolution 2016-35 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 2, we need to open a public hearing for the vacation, correct? Okay, open that now at 6:10. Is there anyone here who would like to speak regarding the vacation hearing for the easement for the final plot in Rubber Bluffs second edition? That's a lot to say. Is there anybody here who would like to speak? One more time. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing at 6:12. Okay, gentlemen, moving on, and that brings us to resolution 2016-36. Resolution approving easement vacation related to the final plot of Red River Bluffs second edition. At this time, I'll entertain the motion.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Mr. McClish makes the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Brown seconds. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none. All those in favor of resolution 2016-36 signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Now moving on to the development agreement. I would entertain a motion for acceptance of the development agreement for Red River Bluffs second edition.
I'll make a motion to accept the agreement.
Mr. Orban makes the motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. McClish. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the development agreement signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 7A, ordinance 220, second series. And this is amending the official city of St. Francis zoning map to rezone property at 3518 Bridge Street associated with East Village final plot to B2 general commercial. This time I'll entertain the motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Mr. Brown makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Orban. Is there any discussion before we call for the question? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the question. Mr. Brown, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McClish?
Aye.
Mr. Scordo?
Aye.
Mr. Orban?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The ordinance passes. Reports of consultants and staff members. Mr. Coleman, you're in.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, I have for you just kind of an outline of the city's approach to 1990, the fire department's involvement as well as the police department's involvement in conjunction with the Lions Club, the ambassadors, and Chamber of Commerce traditionally, and just informal discussions. It was kind of thought that council members would like a registered list of any block parties going on. Department heads or various staff members can make themselves available if council members were going to visit those block parties, or have department heads or whoever's available show up to the community park events. But I just wanted to throw some ideas out there for discussion purposes for tonight.
Council? Yes, Mr. Scordo.
I assume it's probably in response to what I asked for a few weeks ago. At least speaking for me, I mean, last year, I was a Brandon council member. I'd never done a community park before, but we always have our neighborhood thing at some point. So for me, I didn't know if I should go wear my name tag and say, hey, look at me, I'm a council member. I decided to go and hang out. But it kind of struck me that, the police department, fire department do a great job of, turning out, kids love to see the vehicles, they're open to questions and everything. But city leadership, to me, was missing. And even if it was just something as simple as, for free, throw on our name tags and go down to the park. I don't expect the city to, take it over. I think the Lions and the Chamber do a great job with the events down there. we don't need to take, but if there's things that we could do to make ourselves more visible, make ourselves more accessible, and I don't expect, your entire staff to, stay till 8, 9 o'clock. That was just my, if there's anything that we can do to just make leadership a little more accessible, like I said, just show up in the park, if you're a council member. I don't know, that was just kind of the thought I had last year, that seemed that it was missing. There were a lot of things going on in that park, but leadership just we weren't there. So I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts about that, but that was kind of my take on what I saw last year. So that's kind of the genesis of my question.
Council? Yeah.
Well, I will encourage people to be in the park. I will try to make it a point to be in the park myself. Identifying name tag and city logo shirt and everything, and I'll see who's available amongst our department heads, and we'll try and get more of the staff presence down there. Just, like you said, not to take anything away, but to add to the contributions that the groups are putting on now. So.
Okay.
Also, before you make the request for a work session, some of the topics would be the request from Oak Grove concerning the water agreement that sent me off big memo. We did get a legal opinion on that. I think it's probably best discussed at work session amongst city council and staff to determine how we want to respond to that. And also probably the 2017 budget, just some small guidance questions on that and some various housekeeping items that kind of just out there.
Hey, council, have you been thinking of some open dates?
Are we looking to do it before a council meeting or on a half day?
How would you like to do it?
I'm open to what's.
I think if I had a preference, I'd probably prefer to maybe meet up here an hour sooner before a council meeting, but anytime in the next week and a half or 2 weeks, I believe I'm in town, so I think I can make anything work, but we already have this night blocked off. It might make it easier. All right. Does that make sense?
I'd like to have an off night from the council meetings. Generally, we don't get the work done as efficiently if we're doing an hour before a regular meeting. I've had it either way, and it doesn't seem too productive.
We'll be in the way right now, so.
You guys talk a little louder, please, I can't hear you.
Okay, well,
Should we respond with a note to Joe as to what days definitely do not work and go from there?
yeah, can you do that within the next day or so we get this thing scheduled and planned? Okay, going. All right, so you should have something by around. All right, moving on, reports from council members. Mr. Brown?
Nothing this evening.
Mr. McCush? Nothing to report. Mr. Stornall?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Orr?
I just have one thing on the July 27th, the Legion, the Lions Club is going to be, they have their meeting and they're going to have a social hour at 6:30. And at 7 o'clock, they're going to have the SFCBA chair be there to present, basically a presentation on the mock crack that was done last spring. And so if anybody in the public wants to know, see what we did as a community at the high school, you can go to Legion, 7 o'clock on July 27th, and there'll be presentation there.
All right, report from the mayor. All right, gentlemen, let me bring you back up to speed on what's happening with the water infrastructure from grants. To back up and give you a timeline, last Monday, a week ago today, Mr. Coleman and I went down to the Capitol and met with the governor's advisors. I then spoke with Senator Benson Tuesday morning and Speaker Kurt Dow Tuesday evening. And they promised that they would make calls and work on our behalf to try and get something done. In the meantime, Mr. Coleman talked to the PFC to get something in writing for the governor and for Speaker Dow. And it now looks as we are eligible for $8.8 million if they get their work done. Senator Benson's advisor called me tonight at 5 and apologized because I had called earlier and asked if there was any kind of an update. All he could give me is generalities today. Senator Benson has been in touch with the governor, has been in touch with the PCA, and he wasn't sure if she had talked to the PFA yet. But what they're trying to do in generalities is be able to fund us this money even after we have to go out for a loan. Here's what the state law is. Basically, in a nutshell, if we have to go out for a loan and we're running out of money, we have to do this next month, probably. If we have to go out for a loan, we lose a lot of that money because they're GO bonds and you can't use those to pay back debt. You can only use those to pay debt forward or to pay work forward. So what they're doing is they're talking with the state attorney general's office, with a lot of people. Joe and I stirred up a lot of soup last week, let's say, to get people working for us and get things going on. But they're working to see if we can still get the funding, and there looks like there is no promise at this time. But from what we know today, it looks very promising. So they're talking about a special session the 3rd week of August, and then they can get this thing funded. Now we've got, what, 30 to 60 days? Can you have Darcy do a timeline for the council?
Sure.
As to where we're at and when she estimates that this is going to be, so we all have that information. But as it looks, and we'll keep you informed, as soon as we hear anything new, I'll get it to Joe so we can get it out to everybody. But right now, it's very hopeful that we will get all of that money. So I'll keep on them. I think Speaker Dowd right now is at the Republican National Committee. I saw something from him earlier, and I think that's where he's at, so I'm not expecting to hear from him right away. But we had to get a bunch of information to him last week that he was going to present to the governor at their meeting on Friday. We are not alone in this, but it looks like we're one of the cities that are on the forefront of what's going to happen. We're just at the very beginning stages. So a lot more cities are going to go through growing pains after us that are going to have these same types of problems. So anyway, that's where we're at today. Senator Benson is going to speak with the advisors. See, now that the session is over, they're back to the regular jobs. So he hasn't actually spoken with her today, but he will be speaking with her in the morning. He'll get specifics for me and update me tomorrow afternoon. I'll get that to Joe. We'll get it out to you guys. Keep you in the loop so you know what's going on. But we're working very hard at this. I'm not going to let it go. I'll keep up on it. So, all right. Any questions? All right. Then let's move on to old business. Is there any new or any old business? Mr. Crowe.
When we were talking about scheduling a work session, once we do get a date, maybe you can help me out. We are going to legally post it, so we're not going to be accused of behind closed door meetings or anything, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Any other old business? Any new business? Mr. Kush.
I received some feedback from some systems about our video recorder for our YouTube that records our meetings. And some of the feedback I'm receiving is the microphone is kind of hard to understand. So I'd like to see if we have staff get some options. I know it's owned by the school district, but people can't attend our meetings. So I'll make sure they're able to hear clearly what's being said. And also too, it's being recorded at 720p, and I would really like to see it upgraded to like 1080p. That's all I have.
Anyone else? I have a new subject I'd like to bring up to the council to give direction to people. I've been reading lately that several communities to our south have passed ordinances and resolutions as to where level 3 sex offenders can and cannot live within their city limits. Basically, it's near schools and things like this, but they actually say we can't do it. Do we want to have direct legal to take a look at the ordinance for this city? We know we have several options.
Can we legally tell them where they can and can't live?
Other cities are doing it.
And it's been holding up. I guess if it's holding up, I would be in favor of it.
I guess maybe that question we could ask of Mr. Beaton.
The other cities that are doing it, they've got recently enough that they have not had full challenges yet. That's a direction the city have to do that.
Aren't they required by their release requirements that they can't live in the spaces we're gonna prevent them from going anyways?